Hello friends, it's the Fabulous Fellow, and today I have something very special for you. Yesterday I received two packages, and they go hand in hand, so let me show you this. This is the Tarot of the World in colors. And it's from Tarot Mania, which is based out of Switzerland. And it says on the back, devoted to the art of Keith Haring. Keith Allen Haring, 1958 to 1990, was an American artist whose pop art and graffiti-like work grew out of the New York City street culture of the 80s. Haring's work grew to popularity from his spontaneous drawings in New York City subways, chalk outlines of figures, dogs, and other stylized images on blank black advertising space backgrounds. After public recognition, he created larger-scale works such as colorful murals, many of them commissioned. His imagery has become a wildly recognized visual language. So this is the Tarot of the World in Colors. And it is a majors only deck, so it only has the 22 cards of the major arcana, and as you can see, this box is very thin. But that's okay. After I found that, I accidentally found the Keith Haring playing card set. So I had to get both. And I figured that since the tarot is a majors only, that the playing cards would serve as the minor arcana, since, it's based on the same thing. They're divided into suits and all that. So here is the back of the box, which is, a spoiler for what's inside, but so yeah, so the box is divided into two, because you get two decks, and one has a black box with white lines, and the other is a white box with black lines. The two decks are identical, the cards are exactly the same. The only difference is the backs, because the backs match the respective boxes, so you get one with a black background and one with a white background. So I'll show you the Tarot of the World in Colors first. It is a limited edition. I think there were only, oh yeah, it says right here, 200. There were only 200 decks made. So once I saw this, I knew I had to get it. So here is the Tarot of the World in Colors Certificate of Authenticity. Original tarot deck created by artist and illustrator Eugene Vinitsky. This deck devoted to the art of the American artist Keith Haring. 24 cards, Author's Edition, Geneva, 2015. Tarot Mania. And there's even a stamp on the back, which is interesting. A stamp of approval. And it has the 22 cards of the major arcana, and it does have two extra cards. One is the Kabbalah Tree of Life. It says Sephiroth, however you pronounce it. And there are that's the Tree of Life. And these cards do have the Hebrew characters on them, and I only have, I think, one other tarot deck that uses that. I don't use the Kabbalah association. Some people do. There's all sorts of different things that tie into the tarot that you can get out of it. So I don't really use the Kabbalah, but I do like the Tree of Life. So, oh, I should show you too. This is what the backs look like. I don't know if you can see that. My camera is not focusing very well, but so it comes with that one, and then it comes with a blank card called the white card. Why? I don't know. maybe in case something happens to one of your cards. Hopefully not, but then I guess you have a spare for whatever reason. I don't know. So, here is the Fool. And it's a very typical Fool. There he goes walking off the cliff, and he's got his knapsack. The only thing is there's no animal companion, no dog or cat. But it still reads the same. And the Magician, which is very wild, very interesting. I think this Magician is more of like an illusionist. Oh yeah, and by the way, that's on the other side. Everything's backwards. There is the Hebrew character. Yeah, I mean, it's really wild. He's got 3 arms. And then here is the High Priestess. Oh, let me see if I can get that. There we go. And it's got, the pillars and the scroll and the crescent moon. But then if you look on the pillars, there are like people and things popping out of there, which is kind of cool because it sort of ties into the priestess, who's like the guardian of hidden things, hidden worlds, hidden knowledge. So there are all kinds of things behind her, things that she's guarding. And here is the Empress, which is, I don't even know about that. it might tie into abundance, fecundity. Yeah, there's something in this Empress. I don't know. The Emperor, which is very, very standard, very Rider-Waite-Smith. It's got the throne with the rams. But yeah, that's the pretty standard Emperor. And then the Hierophant, which is very interesting. You have, on the top of the pile, is the Hierophant. You see, there he is with his hat and his staff. And he's on top of all these other people. They're all sort of, walking along, stacked on top of each other. It's pretty interesting. Alright, let me move some cards around here. Got a lot going on here. Okay. Here is the Lovers, which is kind of cute because they're, united in the middle in the shape of a heart. And then the Chariot with this 2-headed dog thing. Instead of the Sphinxes, or whatever it is in some decks, maybe it's horses or whatever, but yeah, kind of cool. And strength is a very typical strength. Instead of a lion or whatever animal, it is the dog, the Keith Haring dog figure. Kind of like how the guy is like bent over, like he's just in a very interesting position. And then here is the Hermit, which is a very typical Hermit, but I like it. That's really all you need. You only need the basic things in a Hermit card, I think. I think the Hermit is one of my favorite cards in any deck. It has to be. I have to like it, or else it might turn me off. The Wheel of Fortune, which I generally don't like most Wheel of Fortune cards, but I like this one. I mean, they're the people all formed in the circle forming the wheel, but it could be the Wheel of the Year, it could be the Wheel of Life, it could be how we're all tied together on the wheel as, as a family. I love it. And the colors are fantastic. And, that was one of the things that I knew, and the reason why I had to get it is because I like very vivid colors, very, lots of jewel tones and really bright colors that are very eye-catching. Justice, which is very interesting. I mean, you have the typical, the scales and the sword, but then you have these people um, reaching through justice, which kind of makes sense. I mean, they're it's sort of the balance between two sides, two people. They're all sort of getting their own equal piece out of it. There's a balance between them. Justice unites us. The Hanged Man, which is, has all the typical things of the Hanged Man, except it's got the barking dogs down there, which is kind of cool. I kind of like that. And he's got an X on his stomach. Yeah, there's the Hanged Man. And here's the Death card. And the Death card is always another one of my favorites. And it is the Keith Haring figure guy, but he's also got like a skull face. I don't know if you can see it. It doesn't even look like a skull. It's sort of like a zombie face. He's got these round eyes and this sort of stitched up looking mouth. And he's breaking something over his leg, which I think can tie into the ending of something, like, breaking off. So there's death. Temperance, which is a very typical temperance, but I like it. I like that the temperance has these lines coming off of its head, like, they're almost like lines of worry, or lines of anger, or lines of some sort of emotion coming off of it. I like it. The Devil. And the Devil is also one of those cards in any tarot deck that I have to like. And this is cute. It's a dog person. And it's got these two people. I don't know. I like it. It doesn't have the typical sort of death image, or devil imagery that we usually see. The horned Satan guy and two people on chains. This one has more action to it, which is kind of cool. I like the Keith Haring figures, how they move. He uses the lines of motion, and it really makes his work come to life. Very cool. Tower, very typical tower. These people are jumping for their life. But again, you can see the motion in it. I love it. And the star, which is another very traditional star. Very pretty. I hope this lighting is good. I don't know if it's capturing the color, but the background is very green, and the water is very purple. Maybe I should adjust this lighting a little bit. I don't know. I don't want to mess with it too much. Hopefully that's good. The moon. And of course, I mean, this is perfect, because then you get the two dogs barking at the moon, which is just absolutely perfect. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better moon card. The sun. I know I looked through this deck before, and I actually did a reading with it this morning, but I don't think I really saw every single card, because I don't really remember the sun, but I like it. The guy riding on the dolphin under the sun. And I love that. I love that it's not a baby on a horse. I love that it's not like on some of the Marseille decks you get two children. It's a dude riding a dolphin in the sea, which is absolutely perfect, because it ties into sort of this beach summer kind of a vibe, which is something that I don't really see a lot of decks doing with their sun card, but I think they should. I want to see more of that. that summer vacation celebration kind of vibe, you know. So that's cool. The sun. Judgment. And of course, you know, traditional judgment, but I like the pile of people on the bottom. I mean, they're not, you know, rising from graves or whatever. It's like a pile of people. Cool stuff. And the world. Of course, you know, very traditional world, but it's just, it's perfect. So yeah, so that is the Tarot of the World in Colors, the Major Arcana deck. And now I'm going to show you the playing cards. So I had to put all the cards back in order, so I did something that will hopefully work on camera. Let's see if this, so I can show you all of the cards. So here are the Jokers. They're identical. Purple background, green Joker. I don't know if I will use the Jokers in readings, but I could. I don't know how I would use them. But I could find a way. Alright, so let's see if this works the way I want it to. So, I don't want to drop my cards. So here's what we got here. There are the 4 suits. Oh, there we go. So as you can see, the artwork on every suit is identical. The difference is the colors. So the spades have a yellow background, the diamonds have a turquoise background, hearts are pink, and oh wait, clubs. Clubs are yellow, diamonds are turquoise, hearts are pink, spades are green, and the figures, of course, are different colors. So I arranged these by, I put all the numbers of each suit together so I can show them all, because they're all the same. I'm not going to go through every suit and show you, you know, the repeat artwork each time. I'll just show you them all at once. So there's the aces. And here are the twos. Two people holding a heart. I hope I can show you this okay, but you get the idea, I think. And I love how they're all different colors. And that's the thing too, is that even though the artwork on each suit is the same, the color is a visual cue, which you can really read into. And you know, you're also reading it as you would like any other pip style deck, like a Marseille, or if you read playing cards, which many people do. You're reading with numerology, and you're also reading with what each suit means. So you're sort of reading it intuitively. But you know, since it is so very, the artwork is very simple, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with what each card means, but it can. But since it is so simple and it is very open, that you can intuitively interpret it in lots of different ways. But I like that. But the colors are good. I like the fact that the suits are divided by color, because that's a really big thing, and I really would like to see more tarot decks doing that. Divide their major arcana by color, or color scheme at least. You know, there has to be some sort of cohesiveness to each suit, I think. I mean, you know, that's my opinion, but I like the use of color. Alright, so So I got the 3s. Maybe. It's kind of hard holding four cards, but you can see, I think. 3s. And they're also sort of forming shapes too, because you get the, well, I mean, not really so much with this, but the 3, you get sort of a triangle feel, and then with the 4, you get a rectangle, 4 people inside of a rectangle. Am I doing this okay? Oh, everything looks backwards to me, so there we go. 4s. And then with the 5, you get a pentagon. 5 people coming together, forming a pentagon in the middle, which I like. I like the use. I also like the use of geometric shapes in my decks, which is one of the things that drew me to the. Well, I talked about this in the Thompson Lang tarot video. The wands in the Thompson Lang use the Eudes Picard system, and there are only a few decks that use the Eudes Picard tarot system. But it uses geometric shapes, like the pips are arranged into shapes, which I like. So I like the use of color. I like the color coding, and I like the use of shapes. So if I ever make my own tarot deck, look for those things and other things too. But and bold colors and bold lines too. Like I like the bold black lines for whatever reason. So there are other decks that I'm drawn to with that style. Bold lines and vivid colors. The Sheridan Douglas, which I use often. It's actually one of my favorite decks, and I think I have it right here, actually. You've probably seen me post this on my Instagram and Facebook, but here's the Sheridan Douglas. And as you can see, the line work is very plain, but it has everything you need. It's very all the symbolism is there, but the artwork is simple. It's just bold black line work with vivid colors. And even the people in this deck are not all flesh tones. I mean, there's, a green guy and a purple guy and, whatever. But just another example of the bold line work and bright colors that I like. And I'm always looking for more decks like that, just because they read really well for me, just because they're so eye-catching. So 6. I like the 6. 7. And I like how the figures are within the circle. It almost looks like a globe. I like that. Let's see, the 8s. These are similar to another card, but I can't think of which one right now. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune, that's right. This is basically the same thing as the Wheel of Fortune, just without the circle in the middle. But remember, these are two different decks. So they're using the same artwork. So you'll actually find several cards that have the same artwork, even though the playing cards and the tarot cards are two different decks. So yeah, so this is the same thing as the Wheel of Fortune, just without the circle around it. These 8 people meeting in the middle. I love, especially, oops, dropping my shit. I love especially this hot pink, this magenta color. I just love that color. I don't know. See, those are the kind of colors that I look for. The really bright, vivid colors. But I mean, all of them really. I mean, the green and the yellow and the turquoise. It's just very, very bright colors. Let's see. 9. There's the 9. Here is the 10. I feel like with these figures, you know, you get these figures from 1 to 10, and it, you know, there's 10 dogs a barking. It reminds me of the 12 Days of Christmas. 10 dogs a barking, 9 people doing whatever, 8 people doing whatever. 10 dogs a barking. And now we have the courts. And remember, since this is a playing card deck, you only get 3 courts: Jack, Queen, and King. There is no Knight. So your Jack becomes essentially your page and your Knight. But this is interesting too, because then you get the angel figure, which just adds a whole different dimension to the Jack. But I like it. I just love these colors. Look at those colors. They're just amazing. And then we get Queen. Who, I mean, I guess would be the Queen of Hearts in every suit now. But no, I like it. I like it. And then the kings are the dog barking. There we go. So yeah, so that is the Tarot of the World in Colors from Tarot Mania, and the Keith Haring playing card set, which I got on Amazon, but you can find it elsewhere too. I actually found these cards by accident. I get emails from certain websites, and I got an email from the Tom of Finland website. And you know who Tom of Finland is. I mean, he drew those like greaser type of guys who were just, you know, just very rough and masculine, and, you know, leather jackets and big bulging packages in their pants. And even, you know, the nudes, of course, were just, the penises were just crazy exaggerated, but his artwork is legendary. So anyway, Tom of Finland. So he, on his website, they have different things from other queer artists and things like that. So they had these playing cards on there, and I saw them, and I almost bought them from the website, and but I decided to look if they were anywhere else. And Amazon had them, and it was $1 or $2 cheaper, and of course, you know, free shipping with Prime. So I'm like, well, you know, I'll just get them on Amazon. These two decks look really good together. I mean, let's see here. I mean, even if I just take one card from each deck and put them side by side, I mean, it seems cohesive. I mean, obviously the size of the cards are different too. I mean, these are standard playing card size, and these are similar to your standard tarot size, like your well, I don't think it's the same as a U.S. Games deck or something like that, and I don't really have one close by to compare it with, but you can see from this Sheridan Douglas, it's just it's about the same actually if you consider the size of the box in there too. So yeah, I mean, they go really well together, which is why I got them. And I did do a reading this morning with them, and it was a really good reading. Like, I felt it right away. I knew what it was trying to tell me. So, but yeah, no, I love these cards. I love this artwork, and I'm so glad that somebody thought of that, because I thought of that. I don't know if I said this earlier, but I had been thinking for a while that, since I like the thick black line work and the bright bold colors, that I thought Keith Haring tarot deck would be really cool. Let me see if there's one out there. And I literally Googled Keith Haring tarot, and there it was. um, so yeah, so I found that I didn't get it right away, because the Eugene guy, is that his name? I think it's Eugene Vinitsky, or whatever his name is. What is that card? Eugene Vinitsky. Wow, I was right. Um, I emailed him and asked him, do you still have the Tarot of the World in colors in stock? And he told me that this was in January, that they were on vacation for a while or something, so they weren't taking any orders. But after January 31st or whatever, that they would be taking orders again. So so I didn't order it right away. I didn't order it until this month. I ordered it 8 days ago, or 9 days ago, and it came yesterday. So it shipped pretty fast from Switzerland. Um, oh, and one thing I didn't talk about. I did show you the backs, right? These are the backs. The card stock is pretty good too. I mean, it's not flimsy, but it's definitely good enough to. It's definitely durable, but it's got enough floppiness so that it shuffles nicely, and and of course the playing cards they're not flimsy playing cards either. They're pretty good. I don't know, poker card stock maybe. Yeah. So, but when I shuffle them, I shuffle the decks individually. So I've had to get fancy with the way that I use them. I came up with a spread where I put 4 of the tarot cards, and then I put 4 of the playing cards around it. Um, so it's not completely random. I mean, you're getting 4 from each deck, um, the combination of what you get will determine the reading, obviously. But yeah, so when I shuffle the Tarot of the World in colors, since it's so thin, I don't riffle shuffle it, and I do like to riffle shuffle decks. Some decks you can't. I mean, either because of the size of the cards or the card stock. But this one, I think, if it was a full 78 deck, it would probably riffle shuffle very well. It seems like it would. But since it's only 22 cards, I just, overhand shuffle it. And I find myself doing that with a lot of decks anyway, just because it's easy. So yeah, and then of course here's playing cards. And what's interesting too is, I mean, you can't really see it as much, not with the way I have it divided, but when the cards, actually, I can show you in the other box, since they're the same cards. So yeah, so when the suits are all together, you can see, you know, a hint of each color on the side of them. You can't really pick up that on camera. Maybe if it's still not really showing, but you get your green, your blue, your yellow, and your pink coming through out of the sides, which I could probably edge these. I don't see why not. I mean, they're borderless, so you don't have to worry about any bleed in the border, as long as I find a color that matches this, and you know, and of course I'm careful. I probably won't edge the white back deck, just because the color, if I do slip or whatever, then the color will show, and I don't want that. But on the black one, there's less of a less worry, but you know. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll edge these or not. And I don't know if I will edge this either. Probably not. But you could edge it in that dark navy blue color. And I'm not going to, because I don't want to ruin this deck, because it's so rare and one of a kind. I don't want to trim it. I don't want to trim it. So I will leave the borders on it, even though you could essentially trim it, because the back has a border too, and it looks like they're really close, except for the bottom with the titles. So I don't know what I would do with that, but I'm not. I'm going to leave it as is. So I probably won't edge it, and I definitely won't trim it. And if I don't do that, I probably won't do it with the playing cards either, but, you know, but they're pretty. So yeah, so that is the Tarot of the World in Colors and the Keith Haring playing cards. Both Keith Haring inspired decks, and I love them. I love everything about it. And so yeah, go check it out. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time.